Welcome to the Knowledge Vault. Let's start today's video. The interesting 50 things that were happening in Australia. Around 1650 is a bit challenging due to the limited written records from that time. However, focusing on the activities, traditions, and ways of life of Indigenous Australians,
as well as the broader environmental
and social context, here is a list that reflects the diversity and richness of Indigenous cultures. Social and cultural life. Facts 1.
Elders teaching.
Elders passed down wisdom, stories, and cultural practices through oral traditions. Facts 2. Ritual initiations. Young people underwent initiation ceremonies marking their transition to adulthood. Facts 3. Ceremonial dances. Indigenous groups performed ceremonial dances to honor ancestors and spiritual beings. Facts 4.
Dreamtime stories. Dreamtime creation.
Stories were told to explain the origins of the land and its features. Facts 5. Music creation. Music was created using traditional instruments like the didgeridoo and clapsticks. Facts 6. Body painting with ochres and other natural pigments was done for ceremonies and rituals. Fact 7. Scarification. In some cultures, scarification was practiced as part of initiation or as a sign of social status. Facts 8. Language use. Hundreds of different Indigenous languages were spoken across Australia. Facts 9. Kinship structures. Complex kinship systems governed social relationships, marriage and responsibilities. Facts 10. Marriage alliances. Marriages were arranged to strengthen alliances between different clans or groups. Environmental management and practices. Facts 11. Controlled burning. Fire stick farming was used to manage the landscape and encourage new growth. Facts 12. Fishing with spears. Fishing with spears and traps was a common practice in coastal and riverine areas. Facts 13. Harvesting bush tucker. Indigenous Australians gathered bush tucker, including fruits, nuts, and roots. Facts 14. Hunting kangaroos. Kangaroos and other animals were hunted for food using spears and boomerangs. Facts 15. Harvesting honey. Indigenous Australians harvested native honey from bees or other insects. Facts 16. Seasonal migration. People moved between different campsites depending on the season and resource availability. Facts 17. Water management. Knowledge of water sources, including ephemeral streams and underground supplies, was crucial. Facts 18. Tool making. Tools and weapons, such as axes, knives, and boomerangs, were crafted from stone, wood, and bone. Facts 19. Shelter construction. Temporary shelters were built using materials like bark, branches, and grass. Facts 20. Weaving baskets. Baskets and mats were woven from plant fibers for carrying food and other items. Trade and exchange. Facts 21. Trade networks. Indigenous groups traded items such as ochre, shells, and tools over long distances. Facts 22. Bartering with moccasins. Northern Australians bartered goods with moccasin traders from Indonesia. Facts 23. Exchange of knowledge. Knowledge of the land, navigation, and resources was exchanged between groups. Facts 24. Shell money. Some coastal groups used shells as a form of currency or trade item. Facts 25. Stone quarrying. Stones were quarried and traded for tool making or ceremonial purposes. Facts 26. Ceremonial object exchange. Sacred objects were traded or gifted during ceremonies. Facts 27. Sharing of songs. Songs and dances were exchanged between groups as part of cultural exchange. Facts 28. Gift-giving ceremonies helped to establish and maintain alliances. Facts 29. Trading spears and boomerangs. Spears and boomerangs were traded between inland and coastal groups. Facts 30. Trade in medicinal plants. Knowledge and plants with medicinal properties were traded among groups. Artistic and spiritual practices. Facts 31. Rock art creation. Rock art was created in caves and on cliff faces depicting animals, humans, and spiritual beings. Facts 32. Totemism. Each clan had totems, often animals which were revered and linked to their identity. Facts 33. Ceremonial gatherings. Large gatherings for ceremonies. Brought together different groups. Facts 34. Songlines. Songlines were sung as a way to navigate the land and pass on cultural knowledge. Facts 35. Creation of bark paintings. Bark paintings depicted Dreamtime stories and other important cultural symbols. Facts 36. Carving wood sculptures. Wood sculptures were carved for spiritual and ceremonial purposes. Facts 37. Creating engravings. Engravings on rocks depicted sacred symbols, maps, or records of events. Facts 38. Collecting ochre. Ochre was collected and used for painting and body art. Facts 39. Sacred sites protection. Sacred sites were protected and maintained by the community. Facts 40. Participation in corroborees. Corroborees, ceremonial gatherings with music and dance, were held regularly. Social and economic structures. Facts 41. Clan leadership. Each clan had leaders who guided decisions and upheld laws. Facts 42. Law and punishment. Indigenous law was upheld through consensus, with punishments for transgressions. Facts 43. Role of shamans. Shamans, or spiritual leaders, played key roles in healing and spiritual guidance. Facts 44. Communal child rearing. Children were raised communally, with everyone contributing to their education. Facts 45. Teaching hunting skills. Boys were taught hunting skills from a young age by their elders. Facts 46. Women's gathering. Women gathered food, including plants and small animals, and passed on this knowledge. Facts 47. Storytelling circles. Stories were told around the campfire, reinforcing cultural values and history. Facts 48. Building alliances. Alliances were built and maintained through trade, marriage, and shared ceremonies. Facts 49. Maintaining songlines. Songlines were maintained as spiritual and practical maps of the landscape. Facts 50. Seasonal celebrations. Seasonal changes were celebrated with specific rituals and gatherings. This list highlights the complexity and richness of Indigenous Australian life in 1650, long before European colonization significantly impacted the continent. These activities and practices reflect a deep connection to the land, sophisticated social structures, and vibrant cultural traditions that have endured for tens of thousands of years. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about history's greatest journeys, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video.